praise your name. Get my one. No, let me stop. Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm back. I'm sorry about the way that last video ended, but my device died on me. I'm going to pick up where I left off. I left off in Vegas. They followed me to Vegas. Keisha's vehicle was outside in the lot. I knew this from having her plate number on hand. Nothing really became of that situation. Like, there wasn't an issue at the hotel other than she was doing the same thing she normally does. But like I said, I gave you my dilemma with taking it to law enforcement because I haven't been able to get them to act on anything else that they were doing. So yes, even though she was live streaming my showers, I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't provide any proof. I couldn't just say, hey, these are the same people that are hacking me. They've been stalking me and spying on me. None of that mattered to law enforcement there for some reason. I'm pretty sure a lot of laws are going to change after this. This is going to change a whole lot of shit. Because no one should have to go through what I've gone through these last 5 months. And you're having police officers, FBI agents tell you that they can't do anything about it because they know very well that it's going on. Back to what I was saying. Follow me to Vegas. From Vegas to Utah. So I said to myself, well, maybe if I go a bit further out, then I'll lose them and be able to have a day of peace to myself. I go to Utah, Salt Lake City. I get there and they're there. Now, as soon as I enter into Utah, this is when I started doing like a little bit of experimenting, because up until this point, I still haven't been able to figure out how they're able to track me. I'm thinking it's my cell phones, but I disable everything. I've even disabled the Bluetooth in my car. I'm calling BMW geniuses like, hey, is there, yes, I got the Bluetooth in the vehicle off, but is there any way we can disable it completely from the inside of the vehicle? No luck there. Can't make any sense out of it. But now I know it's satellite. So I get into Utah. I think I'm in like Beaver, Utah. And I pull over at a gas station because I actually lost her for just a moment. And the weird part about that is, even though you lose them physically, they don't lose you. What would you call it? And theoretically, I guess they don't lose you theoretically because they have your location. Boop, 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 boop. They know exactly where you are. So they're telling her, I'm listening to them guide her right to me. They guided this girl right to me. But she never gets like, I'm here, she's there. She'll get like, I'm here, she'll get over here. Wait for me to go and check in, and then boom, that's her moment. She goes and check in. But anyhow, I go to this gas station. They thought I was going to stay at that Ramada for the night. And because there was a Ramada behind the gas station. I get to this gas station. I go in and I ask the teller to hang on to these phones. I take all the batteries out the back, drop them all in a T-Mobile bag, and leave them there with him. I drive about 10 minutes out, and I'm just sitting there and I'm waiting. They tried to play me. They act like they lost me. 10 minutes go by, and then they're like, oh, there she is. Because they were tired of me wasting their time. They got tired of me wasting their time. So they said, well, if we tell her that we found her, she'll get back at it. Go get your phones and everything. Because they absolutely pitched a fit about me leaving those phones there at that gas station simply because the cell phones help them provide inaccurate, provide them with an accurate location. So yeah, they know where I am, but like without those cell phones, they just having a roundabout. Follow me to Utah from Beaver to Salt Lake City. I stop at a T-Mobile location. I tell them I'm going to leave the devices there for a few days. I drive like an hour out. No luck. I mean, they're still following me because I was just trying to get like a head start. I figured if I got a head start, you know, maybe I could create enough distance between their signal, whatever signal, however they were tracking me. You know, like I didn't know if there was something like a key, like maybe a tracking device in my key, something in my under my vehicle. I didn't know what it was. Later on, I come to find out it was a RFID chip implant. That's how they were able to keep track of me, no matter what. You can't lose you. I couldn't lose me. So I go. So there was another, sorry about that, another encounter. I don't want it to fall. There was another encounter at the Quality Inn. Okay, well, let me back up a little bit. Not a whole lot took place in Salt Lake. Turn around, and I'm headed back to California because I'm like, I just have to figure out how to get some resolve, but I can barely even get any rest because the first thing that I think about when I wake up is how I'm going to get rid of these people, and that's the last thing I think about before I go to sleep. And meanwhile, I cannot get law enforcement to help me in any way, shape, or form. The Quality Inn. Now, before I left this Quality Inn, first of all, I checked in at a crazy hour of the night, and then I'm right back. These people interrupt your sleep all night long. Here I am. I paid for a room. Spent my money for a room that I couldn't even not be interrupted in. I couldn't even get a peaceful 2 hours of sleep. These people talk so much all night. Playing. They had my ex-fiance. One of my ex-fiancés. Audio, a conversation between him and my brother. How they got that information, I don't know. But they played that. And then they played off of that. And it went on all night long. They disturbed me all night long. No matter how much I tried to ignore them, they disturbed me all night long. So I get up the next morning for checkout. Prior to checking out, I'm like, let me put in, because I contacted the FBI before. This is before I decided to walk in. I contacted them via phone, just to kind of get some insight on how I should pursue this. And she told me to put a claim in on their website. So I used the hotel's computer, the one in the lobby before leaving, just like that. She's in it. She's in it. So yes, she's in it, but I'm thinking this won't interfere with me sending this report. I type up this lengthy report, send it, get a confirmation page, the thank you for submitting this, get a confirmation page and everything. I printed out a copy and I took a screenshot of the confirmation page. Don't you know they interfered with that report? This is a federal offense we're talking about. They were able to interfere with that report and keep it from reaching officials. They kept it from reaching, but somehow managed to produce a confirmation page. So days went by before I figured that out days later, because I didn't have a confirmation in my email. So now I'm stuck with my printout in one hand, the screenshot of a confirmation in another, and nothing in my email. No follow-up, no response, no nothing. I knew it would be bad then. So now I'm headed back to California. Going back. Because I'm like, I have to get with some people that I know so that I can be still for a moment. Alice was in Texas. Raul, which is the neighbor next door, he was kind enough to open up his door to me. So I stayed there for a couple of days. Now, before we even get to that, because there was a day or two in between that, I get back. The day I got back, these people had me on the side of the road. They were playing a conversation that sounded like my brother. It didn't sound like my brother. It was my brother's voice for sure. I didn't even say that. They were playing my brother, playing his voice, a conversation, pretty the same old thing they had been doing the same time. Now, the thing about it is, like I said, I know at the time I didn't know that they could stage conversations, but this I know now. So there's no telling if that was truly him or if his voice was borrowed. And I'm going to get into borrowed, why I say borrowed later, because when you take someone's soul, when someone sells their soul, they can use all of you in ways unbeknownst to you. So I'll get into that later. They're playing his voice. And then, of course, Keisha and the unknown male, they're kind of, instigating the whole thing, like trying to calm it down. Jesus. There were 2 encounters. Before I even hit California, I was on the side of the road in Vegas, trying to get some resolve. Because they brought up matters that didn't make sense. I'm talking about issues that we've never had in our family. So I'm trying to get some resolve. Nothing became of it. Get back to California. And I'm having like a little bit of a anxiety attack. Because this conversation got so heated to the point where my chest was starting to tighten up. And the entire time this is going on, it's F her this, F her that. I don't give a damn if she die, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I've pulled over already. And I'm like in the grass, like just trying to get my breathing together. Because I've never even had anything like that happen before. Calming myself down is not something that that's not an area that I have a problem in. But this particular day, it got that bad. So, some good Samaritan, this is early in the morning. Some good Samaritan, he must have called an ambulance on their way in to work or something because EMT showed up. And, they checked my vitals, all that good stuff, and just kind of allowed me to go on my way. Just recommended that I go in later on to get checked out, So following that, I pulled over at a gas station, and now this image, this fragment of my brother is no longer present. But Keisha and the unknown male are. They're both present. So they're both present. I'm at the gas station and I'm holding a conversation with them. And they're talking about, this has went far enough. This has went on long enough. I'm like, I don't know who y'all answer to, but y'all need to stop now while y'all can. I don't know who y'all answer to. I don't know who y'all are doing this, for. But y'all need to stop this now. Because mind you, Andrew everything that made it come back to him hasn't taken place yet. The guy from Craigslist. None of that's come back. It hasn't come full circle yet. So I'm like, hey, this, that, and the other. This is way too much, blah, blah, blah. So they're like, yeah, we need to leave her alone. But I just can't. Maybe we should archive her. Maybe we should just shut her channel. And I'm thinking to myself, what do you mean channel? But that goes back to something you'll see in one of my other videos. If they're doing this to people, if they're chipping people without people being aware of it, yeah, that is something like a channel. If there's me and 4 other girls, I'm a station, she's a station, she's a station, she's a station. And if you're in the know of this type of matter, occult, whatever you want to call it, if you're in the know and you have access to this, you can change your station. Okay. So yeah, they're talking about they're going to stop and they're going to leave it alone and all types of stuff. I go and I check in at another Quality Inn. When I get there, they're staging more conversations. They're making it seem as if my brother was actually there. So I reach out to them and I ask him, I say, where are you right now? And it might have been a day later because a lot went on that day. It was the next day. Where were you yesterday? He said, I worked. I said, did you really? He said, yeah. You want me to send you my timesheet? I said, yeah. He sent this timesheet and that was it. And I didn't speak to him again about it until, and I'm telling him, I'm like, these people are mentioning your name. Like, your name is coming up and so is your voice. So anyhow, once I checked out there, I go and I stay at Raul's for a couple of days. Real quick. When I say everyone's in on it, everyone's in on it. I called the cops that day because I was sure I had a hit on the room that they were in. You could tell 2 small town guys, from the other side of town, they showed up, but they showed up with A guy that obviously deals with all types of responds to all type of LA garbage. He's in the know. So these guys, these two cops are like, they're respectable. They're pleasant. Good guys. Then this guy comes on the scene. And I'm giving him the background on what's happened. And he's pretty much like, no, we can't check this room. We can't check this other room. And as he was walking away, he told them, he said, yeah. He said, I understand, like what you guys are saying and all. He said, but I'm from around here and I've heard some things. What have you heard about somebody that's not from your area? What have you heard about me? What have you seen about me? Are y'all following me? What have you seen about a woman that's new to the area, doesn't go out, and only hangs around 4 folks? So you've been back briefed on the cause that I'm not going for this shit. Y'all are looking at me like I'm a problem when the problem is the way that y'all are operating. Okay. Anyhow, they walk off. I go stay at Raul's for a couple days. Okay. Bear with me for a moment because I had to refer to this report that I've been keeping. And I actually didn't go to Raul's from there. I actually went to visit Alice because she was back. When I left the Quality Inn, I went south to Bellflower, visited her, and then I went back north to Glendale, checked back into the Maryland, just because it was cheap and affordable. This time I got a room that was like completely out the way on the other side. It's kind of like a, on the other side. It was actually peaceful over there in that corner. And I was there for a week. That gave me a little bit of time to get some stuff in order. But now I'm getting all types of parking violations. I'm talking about it in a weird way. I can park within the guidelines, get up, come, check, make sure everything's okay, go back in, get dressed, come back out half an hour later, and I'm the only one with a ticket. All the same vehicles are there. So then I started parking over in, let's see if I can recall his name, his lot right next to the hotel. Oh, forgive me, because he was such a pleasant gentleman. But I started parking in his lot and paying instead, or paying more. I got out one day. I got out of my car. And actually, I got out of my car. And I went around to the other side. I was going to get something out of the back seat. And before I could even reach for the door, all 4 windows at the same time rolled down about 1 inch. All 4 windows rolled down about 1 inch. Now I knew that they could get into my vehicle before I left the last quality in. Because when I went out that morning, there's a lot of details with the whole quality in stay that I'm not going to include in these videos because it's definitely not that it wouldn't make sense, but it's just probably best that I save that for law enforcement. But yeah, that night anyhow, they're able to get into my vehicle. They've been able to get into my vehicle. And that the middle of the morning, they woke me up talking about, she says she doesn't smoke, but what is that in her armrest? You remember the stuff we saw in her armrest? This is what I woke up to. And I go, you idiots, it's sage. Because I sage everything. And then they just kind of played it off like it was all good. Like they hadn't been in my car. Like they had not broken into my car. And they break into it in a way that you can't tell your vehicle was broken into. So, fast forwarding back to the Maryland, these windows roll down about 1/4 inch. And putting this whole chip ordeal together, being able to pick up their frequency, being able to, not even their frequency, but being able to pick up, yeah, their conversation, their frequency. Putting all that together, as long as I'm near my vehicle, they probably can do all types of stuff with it. Because of the damn chip. Now, I don't know if I showed this in the other video, but the morning that happened, I woke up and I had a scar on me that I couldn't identify with. It's the only scar on my body that I cannot identify with. And it's right here. Months later, or about 1.5 months later, I got home and another one came up right here. And it's so odd because when these type of scars surface, they surface with a scab over them already as if they're days old. When in fact, they're hours old. So, that stuff happened with my windows. That was really the only thing that took place during that week that and the parking tickets was really the only thing that took place that week that stood out. The whole conversation thing, being able to hear them and they're constantly talking 24/7. By this time, that's just part of my day. That's just part of my day now. But it's still the first thing that I think about getting rid of when I wake up. Like, how am I going to get rid of these people? And the last thing I think about before I go to sleep. You've probably noticed I'm stopping this video quite a bit. But they're pumping in an excessive amount of RF into this room. And I don't have my other cell phone with me, so I can't show you on the tracker how high it is. But since I hear very well, I hear really small decimals, it's way too much. It's way too much. And it's bothering my head. And anyhow, enough of that. So it's my last day. My week is up at the Maryland. My week is up. I head south to Bellflower. I head south to Bellflower. I end up going to a library in Long Beach. While I was there, this was the first time they attacked me. This was the first time that they attacked me. And how they attacked me was they started shooting an electromagnetic force into my heart region, into my chest. They started shooting electromagnetic radiation into my chest. And what this did was, not only does it hurt, but in most cases, what it does is it causes people to have a self-induced heart attack, because most folks will panic. Most folks will panic. So unlike a heated argument with a supposed relative, any other situation, I'm cool. I can keep calm. That's why I meditate, like just to keep calm, to keep zen, to be able to react to situations and matters in a way that I won't regret. So while this is taking place, I'm staying calm and making videos and trying to upload them from the library in which they're being blocked. I call an officer out and I explain to him what's happening to me. And he tells me, he said, well, if they are trying to kill you, they're not doing a good job at it because I'm looking at you. Let me put him down on my list of folks to sue. If they're trying to kill you, they're not doing a good job at it because I'm looking at you. And I'm baffled. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say or how to respond to that. And right after that,